Hello, friends, and welcome to Ubuntu Narratives podcast, where we bring you inspiring African stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary acts towards an equal and just world. Through these stories, we hope to inspire and equip you with practical tools to be the change you want to see for equality and justice. This first season of Ubuntu Narratives podcast is called Working Differently and sheds light on disability inclusion at the workplace. Through insightful conversations with experts and individuals with lived experiences, this series explores strategies for fostering a more inclusive work environment, breaking barriers, and promoting equal opportunities for all. I'm your host, Christine Butegwa, and this podcast is brought to you by Jabali Consulting. Our guest today is Julian Kamwesigye. She is a woman living with disability. She's currently working in customer marketing. Julian, you're welcome. And as we do to all our guests, please introduce yourself. Who are you, Julian? What inspired you to be who you are today? Is there like a particular memory or person who has inspired you to be who you are?
Thank you so much. Hi all. I am get ready to be here. I feel great. I feel loved. Thank you so much for the invite. My name is Julian Kamwesigye and I have a physical disability. I'm great to be in this place. I work with UBL currently in customer marketing, and we will have a very good conversation as we are moving along.
The Uganda Breweries Limited is one of the oldest adult beverage companies in the country. So for those of you who are not in Uganda, that is what UBL is. Thank you, Julian. So do you have a particular memory of a person or an event that shaped you, that really defined who you are?
Living in a community that probably looks at you to be a little bit different. So you inspire to be better. What you go through, with disability, you just can't look at a person and be like, oh, the first question that goes into people's minds is, how do I talk to this person? Does she even know English? Is she even educated? We are judged a lot. To clear that, you have to find something that can make you better, so that when you walk into a room, at least you don't have to put those definitions. Say, guys, look here, I also studied. You don't have to do that. I think those are the things that made me look at life in a different perspective and want to be better for my life and myself as well.
Tell us a bit about your growing up, how you were raised, because I understand that your family really raised you as you, Julia. So tell us a bit about your background and what is it that you think made you who you are today, the confidence that you have.
It's quite funny though. So I was brought up in an environment allowed to be a child myself. As a little tomboy girl, I used to wear shorts a lot, and I had some bit of balancing. I didn't balance proper, so the shorts would do magic for me. I did everything I was supposed to do. I played football with the boys. It's okay. But then it hits differently when you move out of your community to a different community. Then people look at you to be a different person. I am so grateful to my parents. They raised me with courage, confidence, allowed me to be whatever I can be. They were available in my life. They were very present. When you're a mother, basically a parent of a child with a disability, you appreciate small events in a child's life. Like, for instance, I think I learned how to smear myself when I was like around P5. And then other kids can do it when they're in P1 or nursery school. So to my parents, that's an achievement. So small things make their life happy, and yours as well. You feel you're so comfortable with them if they're available. However, some people have a different story, but my story is my parents were very available and they supported. I think that's where my confidence came from. to be whoever I want to be.
How many siblings do you have?
We are 5 and the first girl.
You're the first girl. So, and you're the what born?
I am the third born.
Third born. What I'm hearing is being treated as a human being first and not being seen through the lens of your disability made a big difference. And I think that's important for us as a society, because it's actually not the disability that is the issue. It is the surrounding. It's society.
Environment.
It's the environment. So if we as a society create an environment that treats everyone equally, then we actually remove those barriers that makes a person with an impairment feel that they're disabled. That's a really important lesson you're teaching. You said when you started noticing your disability when you moved out of your community. When was that?
I can't talk about years because I don't want people to know, hey, yeah, she's getting old. That's not. But I think when I was 12 years, as in senior work, that's when I got to really master that I am properly very different from other people.
When you went to secondary school,
a different community, the different setting, people do not know you. So because me, when I was growing up, my mother never allowed me to cover. Even when I wear a sweater at some point in like an hour, I will feel a little bit of a discomfort. So my mother never allowed me to cover. She's like, you're this. You don't have to cover. This is who you are. So like in that community, I even learned to cover. I would want to cover because people would gather around me, and then you don't have where to go. And then all of a sudden, it's a different issue. But then, once you put in a certain environment, being you have a different background of people that support and love you, then you look forward to that. You be like, oh, it's okay. These ones do not know me, don't understand me. But then I'll go home and I have people that will treat me the way I want to be treated. You can demand to be treated the way you want in your home. I knew at the end of that day, once it clocks 5, I'll go to my home and I'll be a better person. So yeah, that was typically it. It wasn't really a good experience. But yeah, you look at it and be like, I also got to understand that life was that. And you move on, yeah.
Was it the secondary school you went to, was it an inclusive school or for everyone? And were you the only person with disability?
Yeah, I was the only person. They did not really treat me in pettiness style because my parents would visit the school oftenly, have to treat her the way you treat other people. So he would come in. So how is the school? What is going on? Are you able to do this and this? The activities of the school, did you participate in them? If not, why? They would demand an answer why you didn't participate. There's no gap between the school and my parents. So I think the school along the way, they got to know, she can do ABC, and as bright as well. So basically they would know we have to treat this person the same because, when you're bright, it has had some advantages. They'd be like, yeah, it's okay. She'll do this, she'll do that. They would allow me to participate in the things I want. They would even push me to do it. But at first it was a bit hard. But then when my parents came in, it was really okay.
Your parents and yourself were the ones who were, kind of pushing the school towards inclusion.
Yeah, because the school did not know. They had never received such cases. They didn't have a person who probably had a disability before. So I think as the first person to be in that space. Because also them admitting me was like a green flag. So pushing, having me in that place, wanting to be better. Because once in a while, the teacher would ask me, is there anything you'd want us to work on? Are you facing bullies in the school? But they were really very available and present as well. So they supported me through.
And did they make any adjustments to, what other barriers did you face that you felt maybe the school tried to work on, or they may not have done so well and needed improvement? Because that's the case for a lot of our education system. And we've seen in previous episodes that education, even before reaching the workplace, persons with disability face barriers in the education system. And there's a high percent of people with disabilities who drop out of school because of those education barriers. So therefore, them accessing the workplace, they've already gone through so many barriers. Tell us a bit more about the barriers you faced in the education system, and what did the school try to do well? What else needed to be done?
Basically my disability, because my legs are okay, I was raised to be independent. I can wash for myself and ABCD. By the way, I was in 2 schools in A level. So for me, being in that position, it wasn't really much of, apart from the bullies and all that, it wasn't really, maybe it depends on a type of a disability a person has, but for me, it was not really the case. What I needed was the environment to welcome me, because really, if no one wants to have a disability, trust me, no one would want to have that. But now that it is available, where do I take it? I don't have where to take that. For me, the school was to welcome me, make sure I am safe in that environment, which they really tried to do. I remember when I was joining A level, we reached that school, as my dad got a place. I don't want to mention that school because it is around Kampala. So my dad got a place for me. And I think for some reason, he forgot to tell the school that I had a disability. Because for him, he knows I have a child. You know what I mean? So when he dropped me at school, when he was leaving, and then the head teacher was like, who's going to be washing for this young lady? My dad turned, I saw his face, like that face you see on your parent, and then there's trouble. My dad turned and, did she ask you to wash for her? And then you guys, it was so funny. And the head teacher was like, I was just asking. My dad says, in case she doesn't get who to wash for her, please let me know, come and do the washing. My dad left. I'm like, when I followed him, I'm like, he's like, are you comfortable? I think I should take you out from this school. So for him, he forgot to acknowledge my dad that I have a disability. And then I think he wanted the person to look at me in his own lenses.
Yes.
It can't happen. It can't happen. Though you would want that to happen. Because also there are sometimes you're in a place and be like, these people feel I'm not bright. And then you're bright. Then you want people to look at you. And then you have to prove to them that you're bright. It's not nice, but it happens. Yeah, it really does.
You have to put in more
than
what others than what others put in just to prove yourself.
Yeah, you have to prove yourself because there is that judgment-ish thing that comes in. So you have to really, really, really work hard. And then you're like, but this hand has nothing to do with the brains I have. I can do ABCD. Then when they get to know that you're okay, then couldn't you really understand that when someone has joined university, has studied, they're a bit bright, do they have to first prove to you? So that's how hard it becomes. Even for jobs, it becomes that hard. But this one, I think we shall go through training, maybe what. But at the end of the day, you're better than them. I haven't seen any person with a disability that is so dumb unless they have an intellectual disability. Yeah.
So speaking about now transitioning from being a learner into the workplace, what was your journey there, and what was the role of Light for the World in perhaps smoothing the path for you? Maybe you can also tell us a bit more about Light for the World and how you...
Is it okay for me to talk about before Light for the World?
Yes.
So before Light for the World, I was working for a private company. Whenever I would be in meetings, my boss would be like, everyone praises me how I managed to employ a such person. Like, you know what it means? You're like, is it supposed to be a norm of the meeting? Do you have to mention this every now and then? And then it feels uncomfortable. Then you're like, I was picked because of my disability, not because I can do this job. So later on, because it was some sort of a marketing, And then I was working with people who are a bit like in 40s. And then I had to grab more businesses.
How old were you then?
We talked about
No, the reason I ask that is because for young people, and it's really good to mention what you can do as a young person. Because again, in terms of marginalization, in terms of not having the same opportunities, young people do not get that. And yet they should. Uganda is a young nation. So I want you to be proud of the fact that as a young person, you've overcome a lot. And be a role model for other young people who are listening.
So to the young people that are listening, you should know when someone has just finished campus, what years they be in. So, and some of us started when we were a bit younger. So I started getting in businesses without even his support. So later, he played a card like, these people are giving you businesses because probably maybe they feel sorry for you that you have a disability. I was getting those businesses without even those guys looking at it. They didn't even know who I was. They didn't know even I had a disability because some of them were done online. I'd close my business online. We move. But then you just putting that in my face every now and then that they're giving you because one time I got a business. It was giving a lot of money. Then he started because I'm like, I need support. He's like, no. Then later on he saw, stuff coming in for him to sign. And he's like, whose business is this? I was like, Julian's. Like, really? Because he had talked to the person who was going to give me the business to give it to someone else. Imagine a boss. So then all of a sudden, I saw Light for the World and other stuff coming in through. I'm like, let me try this.
Where did you see
I saw it online. I think they have a Twitter page. So I saw it there. Then I tried because I was not around. Then they was like, but we were accommodating for people in campus. I'm like, I don't care. I'll come in through. It's like a mini career something. Then they put people there. Different organization come through. Then you go to each table. You talk about yourself. Then after some period, you're given the opportunity of internship.
Came to Light for the World for that particular
career fair.
So did you go through, because Light for the World has internship opportunities where and skills trainings for persons with disabilities. Did you go through that or you went directly to the career fair?
No, I went through the whole process.
Can you tell us a bit about that for others who may want to also go through the process?
They had advertised for a career or people who are below 30. In that, there are different companies, like I said. So the company that you're interested in, if they have like a space, they could keep you. They could say, we would like to have this to come and have internship. So we went through a process. After they told us, you're going to go to this place. So me has allocated you there. So you go through soft skills training. Apart from us who were working before, but you all go through the same. Some of us, they talk about how to behave with other people, how to, please, we are putting you in this place, but then your character will be the one to maintain in certain places. So you go through those processes. They train you, they take some time really to take you through. Some people have the stigmas, they're depressed, they've been looking for jobs, they're qualified, they're not given. So they make sure you're okay, you're good to go. Then you start going into the companies you're placed into.
How long is that skills training?
The skills, it takes like a month.
And really in depth. So they're taking you through self-confidence. How do you interact with others?
How do you interact with other people? If someone says no, it doesn't mean he's saying no because of your disability. It means it's a no for different, those things. So then, once you're put in an environment, it is all about you really, because they can't come and say, please do your tasks on time. No, that's their role. So it's your role to be better. If you're put in that, navigate through, be better for yourself, work with other people. Attitudes will be there. Of course, you can't say it's 100% smooth, but you have to look for ways of being in an environment and working with other people. It makes more sense. So me, as put in an environment where there are lots of opportunities, lots of people. They briefed me, it's a fast best business. Very fast. So they told me, if you're given a task, you don't do it, it means you're affecting other departments and all that. Everyone is important. So you have to make sure you do your tasks on time. And I did. Sometimes you'd be like, it's overwhelming. But you do it. And through that, the attitude, because me, I was interning in HR. So after HR, they looked at me like, no, I think now we are going to change you to a different department. So I bargained at first because I was so scared. as I'm like, no, is there a way I could remain here? They're like, but you've almost done everything here. You go to a different department and it's a role. Get to learn other things and maybe we'll give you a role in HR. But now I'm not interested anymore in HR. I'm learning lots of things. I love digital learning and it's a good environment.
So your current workplace has been able to support you to move from different departments and get I guess the experience in those different departments.
You can learn everything you want once you're in there, if you just want to. So me, I work in customer marketing that deals with execution, promotions, all that. So, but then I love digital. So I'm learning lots of media, digital, e-commerce. I'm learning some, which is very important. Because now it's where we're going digital. You have the opportunity to learn whatever you want to learn. As long as you schedule the person and you're so consistent about it. Yeah, you have really opportunities. It's your character also that we're talking about. But when you're in a certain places and you feel like your disability is taking over and ruling you, you're not doing your tasks because as in you have an excuse. It's not a good way to... Okay, some of us also have excuses. When I'm going to do something wrong. Because I do a walking exercise. Because that's the exercise that he recommended me to do. So at first I would be like, if I walk 2 kilometers, what am I even up to? I even have a disability. So when you're going to do something wrong, you just correct all the evidence to prove. But then it shouldn't be the key. They talk about you. Me, I have a disability. So what? Are you the one who gave you that disability? No. Please look for ways of surviving. I think my call out to young people, don't make your disability rule you because you're going to remain alone in your own world. No one would want to employ such person. They're talking to you now, you're crying because you have a disability. What do? We can't. We have to move on.
And Julian, thanks for that. And you have worked in very, different places now in your young life. And what could you say to a workplace that wants to be inclusive? What are the things they should do to make their workplace inclusive? Because you've already talked about your other persons with disabilities, what they can do, but to the workplace themselves and seeing that from your experience, you've seen what works and what doesn't. So what would you recommend to companies or institutions that want to be inclusive? What should they do? What are some of the how-to things they should do?
I think what I would want to say now is that they have a saying that every person is seconds away to disability. They shouldn't actually do for people because everyone at some point probably, you never know what comes out. So there's some reasonable accommodation that you can really do for your own self because at some point things happen. You can grow old, you cannot afford to do steps. Please put an elevator. Make it easy for some people. And there are people who have disabilities they don't talk about that are not so visible. You just small things. There are steps everywhere. Is that really? It's not a cool thing to do. Find ways of... We're not saying, please do you're supposed to. No, just it's an encouragement. Make your place an inclusive place. Put those staircases. Please look for a way of minimizing them so that people can access. Then, because for us, I think when we're going to BL, they had to first train people. I don't know how that training is called. They have to prepare people that we are going to bring in people because I think they have never had something of the sort.
Has to train their staff.
Really, they were really prepared to welcome us to work with us. I think some companies should talk to their employees. But they should have that training So that one supports also in the attitude. Of saying,
attitude change. Yes.
These people can have attitude. No, we don't have attitude. It's just that you're generalizing. And if you get to know each one of us individually, you find that have very good characters. People are so different. So if they could, and some sign language basic skills, so that you can be able to talk to everyone that is around. That's inclusive.
Important.
Yeah.
And I think we haven't as a society come to that realization that actually all of us can learn basic sign language. Just because you never know who you'll meet and who needs to communicate.
Basic sign language.
Yes,
you know how it feels. Because there are times at an event I see someone is very alone. And then reaching out. And it makes their day. You're talking to people, being inclusive. Just basic. You don't have to learn everything, but you learn basics. Show some, I feel like, not pettiness, but be kind somehow. Not too much, but try as much as you can. Because people are going through a lot. Not only disability, but then it's all about, I think for companies now, I think they should really give it a chance. And those people are so bright. We are really bright, even me talking for myself. Just that we need some chance. Not even a chance. We are human beings. So disability has nothing to frame. That one makes me emotional.
Are there specific experiences that women with disability go through that you think companies should pay attention to and prepare for?
Because work setting is different work setting. But outside that, women with disabilities, it's trouble. First of all, no one wants to relate with you in open. And at some point you're like, dude, I even earn better than you. You're not even in my class. So it is a bit complicated. Some are raped, which it is not a good thing to do. Very bad character. If you're doing it, please stop. Some, they go through a lot. Especially those that have not gone to school. You don't have any skill that you can survive on. You're a woman, you know what I'm talking about. It's not so easy. And you at the same point, you have some kids you're taking care of, kids whose fathers are not present because they don't want to associate with you, or probably you go to them through rape, you don't know who the father are. So it's so hard. So
that means also as the society should also look at these double discriminations that women with disability face. And in that respect, the workplaces as well, because there are other double discriminations that women with disabilities come with, and we should be
I think if you're
willing to look at.
If you're a woman with a disability and you've gone to school, it's a bonus. It's really a bonus. But if you're a woman with a disability and you've not gone to school, it's different. Remember, let's say you were raised in an environment where you are not, parents didn't need you. They felt probably you were cursed to them. That bit, you understand what I mean? Like the environment you were brought up in didn't want you. They felt probably you're the cause of all the challenges they're facing right now. So all of a sudden, probably someone else is looking after you from a different environment, who is not even your relative. So let's say they educate you, come to work. There are those things you have kept in your heart for yourself, things you do not want to share.
That affect your performance
at work. And then people, whenever you see someone with anger, it means there are some things they have kept they don't want to talk about, or they haven't gotten a person to talk to them about. And then we just, doesn't have attitude. But there's something they've been going through at that time. I'm a person with a disability as well as a woman. So it's really a bit different. For men, they have their own challenges, but at least we can't compare it to a woman. It's far from it, as in it is so hard. Because there's a friend of mine who had something that was about skilling women with disabilities, and then it was taking for a week. So when it was ending, the 5th day, so we saw people coming in. I'm so proud. I'm so proud that I can do this for myself. And these are people who are not young. You're like, oh God. For me, I was probably wanting to take my time. I'm having my time, enjoying myself, probably using my leave for this. But then you're changing someone's life. And you see people, and then you're like, these are the things we take for granted on a daily basis. So if there's something that can be done, please, if you can have an opportunity to do any skill, please guide and do it so that you can be a bonus for yourself.
That's really, I guess, thinking hard about a lot of things that you've said. Wrapping up with some things that have stood out for me is the importance of our environment. And the social model of disability talks about that it is the environment that actually disables us, not necessarily our impairments. And you've said it also that anyone can be disabled. It's really your circumstance and what you've gone through. So as the society, we need to take even small acts, those that we can do to make our environment inclusive for everyone. And you've also talked about the importance of having that supportive environment at home. And that's where it starts from. If us in each of our families, we can support those who are different from us, then that gives us a good starting point to start our lives, be productive, whether it's at school, whether it's at the workplace. And what you've said about the workplace is also providing staff with the minimum training to be inclusive, whether it's having basic sign language training, whether it's having physical accommodation for persons with disabilities, depending on the type of disability. I think that's important. And also the importance of those mentorship and skilling platforms that Light for the World, for example, provides for persons with disabilities. Then, it helps us to get prepared to get into the workplace. Very good tips, Julian. As we conclude, what would be your parting shot to our listeners?
Number one, please be yourself. Number two, you can never change your disability, because if I had the way, I would change mine, but you can't. I am not saying you love it, but you have to live, because you really need to see your life. You have to live, so look for ways of surviving. Because if you they say you're over demanding them. So please live. And then to the society communities that we are in, please, we are human beings and we are not asking for much. The only support we need is you to support. Don't give us money, we'll not beg maybe, but just support us. Just understand that we are human beings like you. If we have probably the legs are not working, the brains are okay. Then get to know us individually, like how you also have different characters, like how you get annoyed is how we get annoyed. Don't generalize the attitudiness on us. Don't like it really. We really don't like it. Then another thing, if we do not ask for help, please don't do. Wait for us to ask. And then to the podcast, thank you so much for having me. I hope this is going to be a forever thing for everyone. And thank you for choosing inclusion among workplaces and people with disabilities. The agenda is really good and will be available so to cheer you on.
Thank you so much, Julian. And we're so happy that you came to the podcast. I'm sure that you've touched a lot of lives, including young people. Thank you, friends, for joining today's conversation. Keep the discussion going on social media using the hashtag Ubuntu Narratives. If you have stories to share or insights to contribute, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time.